Hello, baby dancers. I say baby dancers because if you're watching this video on how to get started with Cuban Motion, then you're a beginner, just beginning to learn how to dance. Or maybe you're a teacher who has a lot of beginners and you want a way to get started teaching Cuban Motion and not make it too complicated. So we're just going to do the most fundamental way to get started, and that's with the shifting of weight, allowing one knee to bend and the other knee to remain straight. This will allow the weight to shift from side to side, and the hips will move slightly laterally. One hip will be lower, one hip will be higher. That's one motion that we'll practice. Many people, when they start this, they can't do that. The knees will buckle. So we're just going to try to get the feeling of one knee remaining straight. The other motion we'll do is a little rotation around the spine, like doing a twist, but not twisting the feet. So we want to get that other dimension of twist, because if you're just moving the hips sideways, and sometimes people will do that too much, you can strain the ligaments a little bit on the side, or if you practice a lot, you can actually get some bursitis in the hip. So we need a bit of a three-dimensional movement even for beginners. So we'll just practice rotating, and you could lean against the wall if that helps you. So I'm just here rotating around the spine, trying to keep quiet through the shoulder area. So I'm using the muscles here around my shoulder blades to stay quiet in the rotation. Now when you're watching me do this, I do have scoliosis and a curve, and so my right hip is always a little higher. So I'll try to keep that as even as possible. Most of us are a little crooked, so it'll be okay. You'll notice also that I'm taking one knee across the other, so we don't want daylight between the legs. This can be difficult for men students. A lot of men, their knees want to go out. A lot of times with ladies, their knees are coming in, but their feet are apart. So one big heel's pressed together, and the toes slightly turned out, and one knee crossing over the other. So you'll see there's more than just that one dimension. As I'm sinking to my right knee, there's a slight rotation around the spine, and then changing and a slight rotation around the spine. Don't force it, don't try to go too deep. Also, if you're in a position where the hips are pressed forward, you can injure the lower back here. So you want to make sure you have a long lumbar spine, that the back is kept back, and the rib cage is resting forward in where it should be its natural position. But if you have a tendency to stand here, your natural position will be in the wrong place. So coming to straight where the rib cage is rolled forward can feel like you're really leaning forward. Now, men students, don't worry about looking like a girl. You will not be wearing these heels. And the heels do poise the lady's weight slightly different. It puts her pelvis in a different position. It shortens the back of the leg for the calf and the hamstring, and so it shapes the leg. And the men, even in the Latin heel, will be much shorter. Also, we're not looking for excessive hip movement. The Cuban motion will be a complete body motion, but we're starting just with the basic breakdown. Dropping one knee in, covering the space, a little bit of rotation. Now, depending on how coordinated you feel doing this, you'll start to feel a little elastic band moving across the opposite rib cage from the hip. So even though we say that we're keeping our top very quiet, in actual fact there's a little resistance and oppositional movement through there. Again, from the side. You see the slight rotation there. I'm not doing excessive downward bend and pushing the hips into an extreme position. Again, from the back. Not in this position. At this point also, I'm keeping my heels on the floor. When we're dancing in the Latin American dances, there will be times when the heel will be lifted up. But in order to not cheat, we're keeping the feet down. Many times students, when they're trying to learn, they'll be doing this kind of motion and not allowing the weight to rest into the floor and not keeping the heel down so they can feel the movement in the midsection. So we don't want to prance and pick up the knees. So this is the first exercise you should do, and you should do that until that's fairly coordinated and you don't have to think about it a lot. Just nice and even. Use a mirror so you can see what it looks like. Make sure your teacher checks that you're practicing the right way. It is true that we step a ball flat action in the rhythm dances, but we're not going to think about anything right now beyond this organization of the basic Cuban motion. So for now, keep those heels flat on the floor.